If you're on TikTok, I'm sure you saw that Hailey Bieber just posted a little no makeup routine slash tutorial, and I really wanted to try it out. First of all, I own a lot of the products that she used as far as the makeup goes. Second of all, I'm so intrigued because in this routine, it's very light and natural, but she doesn't use any mascara, no bronzer, and no foundation, which is like three of my like core staples. So I'm just really interested to see, if I recreate this on myself, how I will like it. So that's what we're gonna do today. I'll have her TikToks down below if you haven't seen them yet. So she starts off with a lot of skincare products, I'm sure most of which are from her brand, which is launching in the next couple of months or so. So I just kind of grabbed some skincare that sounded similar. She starts off with a vitamin C, and I chose this vitamin C moisturizer from Sanita's because it kind of looked like the texture or similar to the texture of the product that she was using. So I'm gonna take this first. She just rubs this in between her hands and then applies it all over the face. And then it looks like she goes in with some sort of hydrating like serum. I don't really quite know. So I grabbed something similar to what I thought she was using. This is the Summer Fridays Dream Oasis Deep Hydration Serum. And this has a little bit of like a gel lotiony texture as well. So I'm just gonna layer that in right on top, just blending it in with my fingertips just like she did. And then she goes in with more moisturizer. So I'm gonna go in with my Dew Instant Angel Lipid Rich Moisturizer. You guys know if you've watched my favorites videos, I love this moisturizer, and I actually saw Hailey posted that she's enjoying this moisturizer too on her Instagram story the other day, and I was like, I don't know, it just like validated me, I guess. So I'm just gonna take this, and she used quite a bit of it. Even though we already have 2 moisturizing products on, she put on a lot of moisturizer, so I'm just trying to follow this exactly. It was really interesting to me that most of the time of this routine was spent on skincare, at least it felt like it. Especially when it comes to the base. She really doesn't have that much makeup that she applies to her complexion after, but she really takes the time to prep it with hydrating things. She also talks about a Tan Luxe water spray that she uses to give her face a little bit of a sun-kissed glow, since she said she does not put her face in the sun. I don't have that product, and I also don't have a tan on my body, so I don't need to match my face to my body in any way. So I'm just going to skip that step and go into the sunscreen. Now this is the sunscreen I know for a fact she was using. She's talked about this before in some of her videos. This is the Elta MD Tinted Sunscreen, and she actually uses quite a bit of this. This sunscreen is a pretty deep shade, so I don't know, it like matches her skin tone really well. Oh boy, this I haven't used since the summertime, so I probably should have thought this through. Well, friends, this is not matching my skin tone very well. But we're gonna go ahead and just work this into the skin. I'm gonna kind of drag it down the neck so that it maybe sort of looks a little more natural. But this is gonna give you like a nice little glow as well. To be honest, I have other tinted sunscreens that I prefer over this one, even though I know it's a fan favorite for a lot of people. I honestly haven't reached for it as much as I thought I would since picking this up. And now I'm realizing it's probably because the tint is just a little bit too deep for me. I feel like now that it's blended out, it doesn't look as wild, but I mean, you can tell it really did tint my skin a little bit deeper. Which kind of looks funny to me, but maybe it gives me a healthy glow. I don't know. I don't feel like it necessarily gives coverage though. It just tints the skin and gives a bit of a glowy finish, if you can see that. Next, she goes in with concealer, and she actually uses the Kosas Revealer Concealer, and it actually matches her skin tone pretty well. So I tried to choose one that was a little bit deeper. This is shade 03, and she hardly puts that much on her face. So she puts like this much underneath the eyes and then does like 3 little dots right here. Actually, it's like 4 little dots. 1, 2, 3, 4. And then a little around the nose, and then just a little on the forehead. Now she has really, really nice skin, like no blemishes. I have a few blemishes going on right now, so I'm gonna go ahead and just spot conceal some of those areas that I want to have a little more coverage. And then she just goes in with a sponge and starts to blend this out. I'm genuinely so interested to see how this turns out because, if I'm honest, I feel like I'm not someone that can really pull off that bare minimum no makeup look. Or maybe I'm just used to having more coverage, I don't know. But it's very rare that I do routines like this where I don't wear a foundation. Like, it's very rare. because my priority is usually to even out my entire skin tone. Now that I'm blending out the concealer though, I mean, it seems to be evening things out really nicely and spreading pretty far. Like I'm able to kind of cover up some of the redness on my cheeks and like lighten up those dark circles. Okay, so I actually do feel, you know, more confident now that the concealer is blended out. I don't feel like I need a full coverage foundation all over. That gave me just the right amount of coverage, but it still looks like skin. I'm definitely not mad at this. Okay. So next she goes into blush, and she actually uses a cream Makeup Forever palette, which I do not own, but I tried to find something in my collection that looks similar to the color. So it was actually a cream blush that was like a berry tone, kind of like this. This is the Patrick Ta Double Take Cream and Powder Blush in the shade Oh She's Different. And Hailey literally just takes her fingertip and dips into the blush and then starts just adding it to the cheeks. So I'm just gonna do the same. And I noticed she kind of keeps it toward the outside of the face, like this. But she definitely like layers it up to where you can really notice the blush. So I'm just gonna keep pressing this in. So that was about 2 layers. I think that looks nice. So I'm gonna go ahead and start to apply this to the other side of the face. This is so out of my comfort zone. It's just so different than what I personally do for my everyday routine. But I love trying new things, you know? And I feel like Hailey Bieber always looks so chic and effortless. So I'm hoping to learn something from this and like maybe I'll enjoy it more than I thought I would. I feel like I'm such a creature of habit when it comes to my routine, the steps of my routine, the products that I like to use, the products that I prioritize in an everyday routine. And so this is very different, but I'm already like really liking where it's headed. Okay, I like where that's at. I think that color is actually pretty accurate. It looks pretty close to what she had on. So I'm kind of watching it and then recreating it. And she actually took a tiny bit and put it across the bridge of her nose. So I'm gonna add just the tiniest bit to the bridge of my nose to kind of make it look sun-kissed. Okay, then she goes into brows and she just brushes them up and then puts a clear brow gel in. Listen, she says she doesn't really like to do too much in the brows. This is something that I personally love. Like I feel like I need to fill it in a tiny bit, so I'm not gonna go overboard, but I am gonna just fill in some of my brows just because I feel like I don't have that many brow hairs toward the end of the brows. So I'm just gonna add a bit there and of course add a bit to the front of the brow since I also don't have that many brow hairs that grow this way either. Okay, so that's about how much I'm going to fill in the brows. It's nothing crazy, but just something that kind of boosts my own confidence since my brows are not the fullest on their own. Then she goes in with a clear brow gel, and it looks like it's a Milk Makeup one, which I do not have, so I'm just going to use my Milani brow gel. And it looked clear, like it didn't look like it was tinted or anything in the video, so I'm just going with it. And I'm just going to brush these up and set them. This is so backwards for me too. I always do this last after setting powder, but she does it earlier in her routine. Okay. All right, so next she actually goes into highlight and she uses the Tom Ford Shade and Illuminate. So she uses the top shade, which is the illuminate part, which I honestly don't really dip into that much. But since she's using it, I of course am going to use it. It's actually really nice, especially when you're wearing all creams. It really melts into the skin. And it doesn't look like she applies any to the center of the face or anything, just focuses it on the high points of the cheeks. It's a very glowy routine so far with all these creams, but I think it looks pretty. All right, next she actually does apply a eyeshadow, even though she doesn't use mascara, which is like also another thing that's just different for me. She uses a single MAC eyeshadow. I think it's called Wedge. It literally looks like it could be a bronzer color. So I'm just gonna take my L'Oreal Infallible bronzer. This is in the shade Fair. And I'm just gonna run that on the top lid. She just kind of like puts a little bit in the crease, not too much, just to add a little hint of color onto the lid. So I'm just gonna do the same. It doesn't look like she does anything on the lower lash line, which is also something that I'm used to. So I'm just gonna do this to both of my eyes, just for that little tint of color. I'm gonna go back in with one more layer and just kind of focus it in the crease. It seems like she really focuses this shade right into the crease and brings it all the way into this inner portion and then all the way out. So I'm just adding a bit more there to create that definition. All right, next we're gonna move on to lip liner. So even though she does not use bronzer on the face, mascara, or anything like that, she does use lip products. So I'm gonna wipe off any foundation, or I shouldn't say foundation, any tinted sunscreen that got on the lips. We're gonna go into the Makeup Forever Anywhere Caffeine Pencil, which she uses. This is the exact color. And she just lines the lips first. So after she has the line down, she kind of just smears it with her fingertip. So I'm gonna do the same. I've always wondered what Hailey's lip color is because she really does always seem to wear a her lips but better type of a color. So this combo was really cool to see. She then goes in with the Charlotte Tilbury Pillow Talk lipstick, and she actually takes her fingertip with this and then just dabs it into the lips for a little hint of natural color. She says she loves this lip combo, and I can see why. It's a really, really nice, just natural everyday color. I feel like Hailey already has quite a bit of pigment in her lips. She has very naturally rosy lips, and I feel like this color really does kind of mimic that same color. So the last thing she does is she takes the Laura Mercier translucent powder and takes a little bit of this on a small fluffy brush and then just starts to press it into the under eyes and the chin as well. Basically just the T-zone, making sure to get the center of the forehead here as well. I'm just gonna add a little to the tip of my nose because I don't like that to be too shiny. And then all she does after that is she actually kind of fixes her hair a little bit and then wears a hat. But as far as makeup goes, this is the final look. What do we think, you guys? Okay, so this is definitely very much different than what I would normally do, especially without mascara. It's kind of crazy to see a full look and not have mascara. Part of me feels like I need to at least attempt to kind of curl my lashes a bit with my fingertips. But other than that, I do feel like there's something fresh about it. There's something chic about it. I like that I have a little bit of something on the lips, surprisingly, even though that's so not me. I normally, with a no makeup look, and especially without mascara, I wouldn't have done like a lip liner and a lipstick. Even though they're natural and they're blurred together, I wouldn't have thought to do that. So I actually do really like how that looks. But yeah, this is the exact routine. I don't know, for me personally, I still feel like I need a little bit of something on the lashes, but it's fun to try new things. I would love to hear from you guys. What do you think about this routine on me? Because I feel like I have more normal skin as far as, blemishes, redness, things like that. So I want to hear from you guys. Do you feel like this could work for somebody like me? Or is it more for the people that have really naturally clear skin who can just get away with a little dab of concealer, I will say I am surprised at how much I like this. Even though I would add a little bit more in certain areas, there is something about it that's very much me still, which I really like. So I enjoyed following her routine because, again, it's just something so different and very out of my comfort zone in the techniques and the products that she chose. But I feel like I did learn something, and maybe I'll try to do more foundationless looks in the future. Well, I hope you guys enjoyed seeing me recreate Hailey Bieber's TikTok tutorial. I would love to hear what you guys think if you end up trying this out. You don't need to have all these exact products. It can definitely be recreated with the things that you have. So if you do end up creating this, I want to hear what you guys thought about it. Is it something that you loved, or is it something that you would change up for your own personal no makeup routine? I would love to hear from you in the comments down below. If you're new here, hi, my name is Allie, and I would love for you to join the family. You can do so by hitting the subscribe button, and if you're already a subscriber, you want to be notified on Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Saturdays at 10 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. Click on the bell after you subscribe, and you'll get a notification every single time I post. That's it for me today. I hope you all have an amazing day wherever you are, and I will see you in my next video. Love you. Bye!